Okay, welcome to this, my first blog. Chris Broadbent of Fibrings Communications. This is day one of the Commonwealth Games Athletics. I'm joined by Steve Smythe, writer for Runners World and Athletics Weekly.
Hello.
And you're the expert on the endurance running at this event. You've been to how many Commonwealth Games, Steve?
I don't know. The first one I went to was 1990 in Auckland.
Right, okay.
I haven't gone to all of them since, but I've sort of watched everyone since the 1970 Commonwealth Games in Edinburgh is my first memory. I remember it was the first World Championship I've watched. And,
Gosh, okay.
I can remember all those races all vividly, very well. Yeah.
Come full circle, we're back in Scotland
Yeah,
now.
back in Scotland. Yeah.
So today was day one of the track and field programme, but the three medals, the three titles that went out today were all endurance events. First of all, in the morning, there was the marathon races, both quite fascinating championship marathons in their own way. What were your takes on them both?
Yeah, I mean, they were interesting races. I mean, the men's, I think, even though Michael Shelley won the silver medal last time, I think most people were really surprised he won it. I don't think anybody mentioned him really as a serious medal contender. And then halfway, he was off the pace, 10 seconds off the pace, and I think people discounted him. They thought it was going to be an African affair.
Yeah.
But he paced it perfectly, ran a brilliant race, and he blitzed the 5k between 35k and 40k and 14:47, which is a sort of you'd expect from a Kenyan, and that was world class. So he's obviously capable of more. He set a PB, but obviously a lot of the Australians, I mean all the three Australian women set PBs. They obviously were very well prepared. I think it really means something to them, the Commonwealth Games, and it was a big surprise. I mean, the Kenyans, right, they might not have been the ones that London Marathon would pay hundreds of thousands of pounds for, but they were all very good athletes and all expected to really take the medals. And I think Athletics Weekly was almost predicting a clean sweep, I think, in the medals. And Australia picked up a gold in the men's and a bronze in the women's.
Why does it happen sometimes in championship marathons? This because, as you say, you look on paper there. Shelley's best time is 2:11. I think he did slightly improve his PB today, but the man he beats in second place has got a PB 5 minutes faster than him.
Yeah.
How can that happen in championships and not in big city races?
I don't know. I think some athletes are better at championships and are capable of more, and they perhaps don't like races where they blitz through halfway in 60. Michael Shelley might not be as good as the Ugandan, the Olympic world champion, hasn't run very fast times, but in championship races he's won his two big races. In London Marathon he hasn't looked so good, and some athletes I think are like that. Some athletes like pace all the way. Some of the Kenyans today, they put surges in, and maybe they paid for it. The Australian held back a bit, ran a more sensible race. And it's not even the 5,000 people. I think who made sometimes if you went a bit too early, you moved too early, then you pay for it. And the people who are more patient hold back, leave it to the last fifth or 10th of the race to fare better.
Okay. And the women's race was also a very interesting race as well. It was dominated by the Kenyans at the front end there. Quite interesting finish that event, wasn't it? A very close finish.
Yeah, it was close up to the end, and then so Mina Kicherich, Daniel actually blitzed the last 5k. I think Caroline Kellel probably made it look more pronounced because she obviously suffered. But it's a pretty good. There weren't that many great times today. I think they're probably disappointing when you think rainy conditions in Glasgow. A few people said it was windy or the course was tougher than they expected.
Yeah.
But I mean, 2:26:45 is reasonably classy, and it's the second quickest time in Scotland, I think, ever, apart from Lisa Martin won the Commonwealths in '86.
Yeah.
So it was a good time, and it was a good race. And it was interesting as well the way that the Namibian sort of suffered a bit. She obviously really blew up, and the Australian ran a really good, sensible race and ran a PB 2:30:12.
Yeah, just Trendgrove, wasn't it?
I don't know. She's not someone I was really looking for before. I thought the Canadian, even the Namibian, probably looked better on paper, and even Susan Partridge.
Yeah.
The Scots ran well. Susan Partridge ran very solidly in the women, and in the men, Derek Hawkins ran a very good race.
Getting on to the Home Nations athletes, you think, especially in the women's race there, do you think people like Susan Partridge and Louise Damon might look at that bronze medal as 2:30? Do you think they might look back and go, could have been me?
I think so. I mean, the thing is, if maybe Chengove on a faster course in better conditions, maybe it might be a 2:28 athlete. And I don't think Partridge or Damon are capable of that sort of time. And I'm sure they were up for it and they did their best, but they were beaten by a better athlete. So maybe Chengove is just slightly a bit better. But I think on paper they probably would have liked to come a bit higher. But I think Hawkins pretty much just missed his PB. I think he ran a brilliant race, and Stephen Way at 40, an amazing run really. His major championship debut, and he broke the British Masters record and run hills from about 30, close on 40 years ago, and had run a really classy race. He just ran his own race, ran to the right pace. He got a bit of company from the other Britons, and he got the most out of it. I think nearly all the Britons in the men's race, I think, ran pretty much to form really. And got the most out of themselves.
It's worth talking about Steve Way. He's a feel-good running story of the year, if you like, isn't he? I mean, he's perfect newspaper fodder with his story about being a smoker and 16.5 stone 7 years ago. But it is a fantastic story, isn't it?
Yeah. I about 2 months ago, I went to watch the British 100k Championships, 62 miles, and I think he was running his first serious 100k, and he won the British Championships there. Yeah. I was then thinking, I actually forgot as I was speaking to him that he'd be doing the Commonwealth Games marathon. He said, "Oh, I'm going to have a little recovery," and I was thinking, he shouldn't have done 100k, but it worked for him. It obviously helped his confidence. It gave him masses of strength. Yeah. And he did the training afterwards to get sharp enough. But I must have, when I saw him at the state he was in at 100k and in the agony he was in, I was thinking, there's no way you'll run. I think I spoke to him. He said, "Oh, I'd like to run 2:15 for the marathon." I thought, no. But he was right. I was wrong.
Yeah, he's a real hero for the club.
I think the club. He's an inspiration really. I mean, there have been years gone by when England might not even picked a 2:16 marathon runner. Yeah. Almost reaching their standards. I mean, British athletics probably wouldn't pick him for the Europeans, even though his time would actually get quite a high position. But no, I think he's an inspiration. I think the fact that you can come from where he's come from and run for Britain and do as well as he's done, run for England in this event. He's going to do that. I think he's going to do the World 100k Championships, and he must have on that form if he can hold it over that distance. Yeah. And his last run, he had a brilliant run on a very hard course in Gravesend. I think he did break the British record there. He's actually capable of the world record, I think, possibly even over 100k. Okay.
He's clearly got endurance to burn then. And I guess dropping back from 100k down to 5k, these guys are mere sprinters. But another final we had today was the men's 5,000 metres. Obviously, 44,000 people here would have loved to have seen Mo Farah line up. Late withdrawal to the event. It was still a cracking final, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I don't think unless he was in his 100% Olympic form, I don't think he'd have won it. No. Nadiku ran a 26 second last 200, 54 last 400, which are the sort of times that almost Mo runs 2:25 last kilometre, and he controlled it. And I think if Mo hadn't got in front with a kilometre to go, even at his best, I'm not sure he would have got past Nadiku. Nadiku's got, I would say, equal speed to Mo, and it would have been more a case of who made that move and got in front rather than. Very impressive. It was a good race, fantastic atmosphere. I think the crowd was fantastic. It was almost like I doubt it would have been that much better atmosphere when Ian Stewart was beating McCafferty 44 years ago.
That's right.
It was almost as if a Scot was up there, and one was up there for at least hanging on for a while. The British athletes did okay. Vernon came through very strongly, and Farrell always looked good. And Caldwell ran a good solid race until he totally died in the last 800 metres. But I think they did well. But it was a really cracking, high standard race really. Great run by New Zealanders.
It was a good run by the New Zealanders, the New Zealand twins, Robertson. I think it was Zane that got the bronze medal.
Zane got the bronze. The other one fell over actually, came sixth. And most people are expecting Nick Willis, who's been he broke the New Zealand 1500 record just over a week ago. With his 3:29 1500 speed, I think people were expecting that he could do it, but the race was too hard for him and too strong for him, and it was actually the Robertson twins who fared the best.
Good to see the Kiwis coming back into this high level of endurance running, because they've got a rich history in the sport.
They seem to be doing quite well in quite a few things really. I just noticed in some of the cycling events they've been doing well as well.
But back to Nakudu, and obviously with the absence of Mo Farah, Mo's had his year was focused on London Marathon. He didn't go exactly to plan. He's had a year so far without any championship victories. Ikudu's won the World Indoors. He's now won the Commonwealth title as well. It's adding a bit of spice to the brew for next year, isn't it, for World Champs and Rio perhaps? Mo Farah's got another contender who's stepping up to the plate. So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we already in Athletics Week in the prediction, we had already selected Nadiku to beat Mo. And it's a bit of controversy because Nadiku did have a bad run a couple of weeks ago. He was only 9th or 10th in Monaco, or one of the big 5,000s. But he just looks the real deal, really. And I think he is I think a lot of people think, unless Mo gets back to his very, very best, then he's going to have trouble. And even if he does, he still might have trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
But the Deku looks good, and I mean next year you'll have more people. You have the Ethiopians obviously, and perhaps some of the Americans, and in there as well. But it was I think a really good race. Probably one of the best Commonwealths. I think the Commonwealth 5000 has always been a great race. Go back into the 60s when it was 3 miles. It was always classy in 1970, 74. Brilliant races.
Yeah.
And today carried on that tradition.
Yeah, yeah. So you're right. It has got a great tradition. The Commonwealth Marathon, the Commonwealth 5,000 metres. It's a funny old games, the Commonwealth Games, because some events are not the high standard and some are really high standard. What is it you're looking forward to most this week? Some of the endurance events look pretty tasty across the programme, don't they? The 8s and the 15s. And
the 8s. I mean, the 800 specifically with Rhodesia and the Botswana.
That's a virtual world championship, isn't it?
It pretty much is, and you might find Sagi came 8th in the Olympics. He might not even make the final. In the Commonwealths, there's some good runners all the way through, really. And the 1500 should be good. Willis against the Kenyans, and there's others in there. I think the crowd. I think certainly Chris O'Hare should make the final, and possibly even Jake Whiteman. So with Scots in it as well, the atmosphere will be really raised.
On the women's side, we've got Lindsay Sharp in the 800 metres, Laura Muir in the 1500 metres.
Whiteman and Muir in the 1500. I think they'll be battling for a medal. There's 2 very good Kenyans in it, but there's some reasonable Canadians and some Australians in it. It's looking looking good. I think definitely the middle distances are the quality, and the field events. Some of it's good because you've got athletes, British athletes, who wouldn't get a chance of even getting in the final in the Europeans. Have got medal chances here, and that's good, I suppose, because it shares it around a little bit. But in terms of world class, there's the odd one, women's hammer, Frizzell, who's the best qualifier. She's world class, but there's quite a gulf behind her. Some of the women's javelin's good quality. There are 4 or 5 world class women javelin throwers, but other events you look at it, it's quite open, and it's not even to the standard of a European qualifying round, really.
Okay. But still, it's been a great start to the games, and lots to look forward to.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's good. The sprints were interesting. There's nobody really, I think, standing out in the sprints, the 100-metre heats. It looks open, and the Jamaicans, Adam Gemma ran the fastest time, even though he had the worst conditions. He looked very good.
He did,
and the women's 100.
10:15 was good. Was a good run in the heats, and
it
was quite light rain and not ideal sprinting conditions.
No, it was actually into a headwind as well, and some of the other conditions they had winds behind it. But I think he ran the fastest time, but I think he actually eased off later than some of the Jamaicans who ran slower. But I think it's looking very interesting.
We'll see. Plenty to look forward to then, Steve.
Yeah, very much so.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
See ya.
Okay.